Okay,
20 seconds.
I think we're live. Yeah, we're live.
10 seconds. 2 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience over there, Facebook, Periscope TV, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, and much, much more. We're glad to have you with us. On today's show, we're going to be talking all about design on many different fronts. You're probably thinking, wait, design, what does that mean? Well, you've got fashion design, and then you've got interior design. It's going to be amazing. We've got lots to talk about here on the morning show. First of all, of course, we got none other than Jesse Sanchez kicking it up over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Design. Are you an artistic man? Because I feel like you're a very creative man. You're very like with the writing, and you're like, would you say you're artistic though?
I think everyone is artistic to some degree. It all depends on how you look at it.
That was good. That was a good pun because it does depend how you look at design. Get it? See? So we'll be here all week, folks. Look, we got lots to talk about. Coming up around the corner, we have a good friend over here, which I can tell you right now, her designs you are definitely going to want to include in your next unit and or residential and or commercial building. And I'm talking about Elise Koltelnikova. I'm sorry, I got, that's how most people would say it, but it's Koltelnikova, Russian. But her designs are amazing. And just to give you just a little bit of a glimpse, I'm just going to show you just a little bit for those of you tuning in on the radio. I don't know how I would describe the words of the type of fashion that like I would want a fashion show in one of her designs. I don't even know if that makes sense, but just gorgeous, beautiful designs. I don't know how other than to describe the type of words of what we're watching on the screen there, Jesse. Can you throw in maybe 3?
Let's see. Ow. Classy, elegant. I don't know. I'm not a big design person, but I love her designs. They're just like very sleek and modern.
Sleek and sexy. I think, yeah, that's that, you know. So there you go. And so we're going to talk to her a little bit later, get into the brain of Elise and see what really drives her there, because I can tell you right now, I could imagine, and a lot of her designs you can see in Las Vegas, by the way, as well as other places around the world. She consults all around the world. So we're going to talk about design and what that means. Also for those that I know are budding designers. What I mean by that is there's a lot of people out there, many young, sometimes some even not so young, youthful, I'd like to say, in the design world, and many want to get into design. And I think it's a good time to kind of go through that type of thought pattern, because you could do a lot of this virtually. Oftentimes I'll see her post on Facebook, you know, maybe she's late at night creating a design through some cool computer graphics that look like they're the real thing. And I can tell you right now, I think it's an amazing thing. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. She'll join us in the latter half. But coming around the corner, actually, is another designer, actually a professional skater. And we're talking about Michael Koluva. Michael and his design and his amazing team over there doing their thing. Just to give you kind of a glimpse of that as well. We're going to be talking to him around the corner and talk about his ability to do fashion design in a COVID world. What does that mean, right? So he teamed up with a very great organization, his entire team, actually. Creaky Joints, a global healthy living foundation, a digital patient community for people with all forms of arthritis, and specifically rheumatoid arthritis as well. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that and his designs. So it's all about designs here on the show. All right. For those of you tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from. Big social media audience. Let's see. We've got people tuning in like Stephanie Reed. Thank you, Stephanie. Says, hello, happy editing this glorious day for today's awesomeness. Busy day ahead. That's awesome. And let's see. Melissa tuning in. Notoriani. And asking for a GoFundMe. Go check that out. That's in social media. Maria tuning in. Thank you, Maria. Good morning. Good to have you with us. So we got lots to talk about, including news, national news, and international news. We've got quite a few national news stories, one of which I got a question on, and it's this one. Critical fire danger expected in California. And I know a lot of people are questioning, which I'm still going to wait, because I can't see Trump being that ridiculous of banning like fire help in California. I just don't see that happening long term, or at least I hope not. I don't think any smart president would say and withhold funds for a because we've had a pretty big disaster, and I get it. I've looked at the polls, the pre-polls, the post-polls, whatever polls you want to talk about. I get it, but I just don't get it as well. So look, when it comes to fire, we all had to inhale it. Now we got to fix it, and government needs to step up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because joining us right now, waiting in the wings, is somebody who has taken his designs virtually. And I'm talking about Michael Kaluva. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. But Michael, pre-COVID, I would imagine a lot of your designs and fashion style really was able to be quite easily seen. And now you kind of went a little bit what I call futuristic. You did it all virtually. You premiered it on YouTube. How cool and or exhausting was that?
It was amazing, actually. We had to really pivot during this time and thinking a little bit, into the future. Like you said, back in March, I was already kind of scheming of what we were going to do because I really didn't think New York Fashion Week was really going to happen, and it didn't. So I was so glad that in March, when all this started going down, that I really started thinking ahead and what we could do. So by May, we already had a production schedule and how we were even going to produce a video.
Well, Michael, and I'm glad you did this. You teamed up with a really great organization as well on this. Anytime I talk to anybody and they team up with an organization, there's always a story behind it. You happen to have teamed up with Creaky Joints, as well as a Global Healthy Living Foundation. What was the reason for that? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so I did team up with Creaky Joints. I've worked with them for the past almost 5 years now, and they're such an amazing organization in the United States. They don't take any outside funds, so any funds that are allocated to them, they use for the awareness and to find a cure for arthritis. I personally have rheumatoid arthritis, so that's where it really hits at home for me. And what becomes really personal is that I really do want to have a platform for people that don't have a lot of voice to express the awareness of arthritis, that it can happen to younger people, that you can still achieve your dreams with a disability, and that there are people out there that are listening that you can tell your story to.
Michael, I'm glad you're talking about that. That's very near and dear to my heart. When I was a teenager, I had an older friend of mine, and we would go door to door, literally preaching and teaching. But she was stuck and confined to a wheelchair because of rheumatoid arthritis. It got so bad. She had, I don't know how many different surgeries, and in her hands, unfortunately, with certain severe cases of rheumatoid arthritis, she lost the cartilage in her fingers. And it was very debilitating for her, but she still kept a very positive attitude. Big shout out to Sandra Garcia, who I love. And to this day, I used to push her in a wheelchair often, and we would just pal around all the time. And I got to say, I mean, you must know of other stories as well, very similar then.
I do. I know one that's very dear to me. A close friend of mine named Kelly. She lives in New Jersey, and she was actually featured last year when I did New York Fashion Week and had a live event. I actually had her on the runway with her wheelchair and everything, and it was just so magical. And, I've seen a lot of designers, seeing what we've done and have gone off of it, just like Moschino from Jeremy Scott, and a lot of other designers are following suit, which I think is great. I think everybody should have a platform for what they want to do in life.
Yeah, and now let's talk about your fashion as well. I understand there's a special inspiration known as a particular. I don't know if I want to call it a family friend or uh, 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 like, is it a son or a daughter adopted? What's going on there?
He's my baby. I have a French bulldog named Gus, and he's going to be turning 1 next week. So I've had him throughout the entire pandemic. It was just kind of, it just happened that way. Did not plan to get a puppy during the pandemic, but it happened that way, and it was just so amazing. And he was such a great inspiration, and also he kept me going throughout the entire time while we were confined to our place. And it was just something to look forward to every day. And so I really had to give him some recognition into this collection because he really got me through it and motivated.
I'm so glad you brought that up. First of all, thank you for being transparent. Some people like to pretend and hide, if you know what I mean, during COVID, and like, no, I got it. It's easy. And then I could see in their eyes a sadness, and I say, oh, what can we do to help that out? And I'm actually, this is interesting. The French bulldog is an amazing pet. Inspiration for a lot of things, including, I don't know if you knew this, but dragon. What was it called? The kids with the dragons. That was an inspiration for them for the dragon, by the way, French bulldog. But out of curiosity, that's like Gus is on almost all of your feature designs, right?
They are on some of them. I featured him even in pieces that you would not be able to see him unless it actually glows in the dark. So if the light out, you would see him. Sometimes during the daylight, you will not see him on our clothing. So he pops up here and there through this collection, which is also another, subtle awareness to arthritis that you cannot see our disease all the time, but it does pop up.
Wow. You know what? You're thinking on a lot of different levels. Look, I'm going to want to get into your brain really quick. Obviously, look, you went from figure skating to designing. I would imagine you're still are very, do you still skate or do you find the time?
I do skate just for fun. I have my coaching credentials as well if I like to coach. I do things here and there, but most of it is just doing costumes or, just hanging out with my skating friends. I have a lot of friends who have done very well in skating, so I always like to make sure they're looking amazing on the ice and off the ice. So, yeah, I try to keep in touch as much as I can.
Can I just throw something into your awareness? You may already know it exists. I just saw a documentary, shout out to La Femme Film Festival, which I'm a part of, which happens this week. And they have what's called synchronized skating. Do you know it?
I do, because when you perform in ice shows, a lot of those ice show precision numbers that they do with the entire cast is all synchronized skating. So a lot of people that go into synchro, they will also go into a lot of ice shows as well, because then they can actually monetize off of it.
So I'm thinking you need to do combine the best of both worlds. You need to make, because we need that as a winter sport. I don't know how you feel about that. And number two, I think they need a new fashion line out there, because I've seen some and they don't have one.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do a fashion on ice show. I'd love to do something like that one time.
Yeah, why not? Okay, look, for those that are checking out your stuff, I know they could find it online. Tumblr and tipsy.net/shop. For those of our radio audience listening, how would you describe your fashion?
My brand is very pop culture influenced. We are celebrity driven, and we also are a futuristic streetwear brand.
Yeah, I like the jacket, by the way. That was a cool, I want to call it not the Columbo jacket. It's more like the new Columbo. Did you ever watch Columbo?
Yeah, I did.
Right, it's the rain jacket. He always went everywhere with it. So I think I need one of those. All right, can I get that in my collection? Yeah. How much does that run, out of curiosity?
The prices are all a little bit different. Everything is handmade and hand printed, this collection. So you get a certificate of authenticity plus a signature that is, out of a certain edition that we have. Everything's a little bit more unique this year, being that the pandemic, we don't have access to fabrics as we usually do. So I only made limited quantities. So, the prices do differ. If we start at $19.99 for a face mask, and we go up to thousands for a custom sequin dress. So there's something on the store for everyone.
So in other words, put it on display, because these are works of art. Like within
they are the work of art. Yeah, every piece is hand done, and there's a handcraftness to each piece, which makes it so unique. And not everybody will have the exact same piece, which I love.
Got it. All right. Well, for those of you joining us right now, we're talking to Michael Kuluva again. Amazing mind and doing some really good stuff for the rheumatoid arthritis over there, and talking about it. creakyjoints.org. And again, talk to me about really quick about this collaboration with you and them. And obviously, this isn't the first year. This is what you said, the 5th year, right?
Yes, we've been working together for a few years now, and every year I try to up the game a little bit. This year that we had the platform do a video, I wanted our video not just to be a regular runway show where you can just, see the clothing, but this one was more of a video that told a story. On top of, you're able to sit in the comfort of your own home, being COVID conscious and safe, and also feel like you're watching a front row show at New York Fashion Week. So it's also that comfy leisure on top of we're bringing arthritis awareness. We have a great collection that's limited edition that has pieces that have joints that light up in the dark. So like I was saying earlier, you can't see this disease all the time, but now with the clothing that we have, you can turn off the lights and you can see all of our joints light up, and you can also see it in the video as well.
Got it. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you so very much for spending time with us here on the morning show. For those that want more information to follow all the great stuff that you're doing over there, where can they follow you at?
At Michael Kuluva at Tumblr and Tipsy, TIPSY, and also at our website, tumblrandtipsy.com or .net.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael, for spending time with us. We'll see you again, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right. Stay safe out there. All right. We got to take a quick break. We got more coming up right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, we're on our commercial break here. I think we're gonna have to push out Elise just a little bit more so we can we'll call her at about 8:33 ish. Hopefully she can hang tight there. If you could text her on the chat, just say we're running behind. Sorry that I didn't want to cut him off. We got delayed on that call. Oh, I'll message her on Facebook. Hold on. We're running a few minutes. All right. For the rest of you tuning in, this is our social media chat room. So let us know what you're thinking over there. And let's see. Rosalie says, ooh, I have to go shopping. I want a custom piece, right? There you go. That's perfect for you. And thank you, Jesse. I'm going to throw that up there too. TumblrandTipsy.net. That's where you go for the information there. You can get that. And let's see. Katya Wunderland tuning in from Switzerland. Thank you. Maria says, yeah, shocked me when I read that too about the funding and the fires. Who does that, Jesse?
Does what?
Oh, you probably didn't see it.
No, I did not.
I got questions that need to be answered, Jesse. I really do. It's. I didn't really want to look it up because I thought, oh, he'll just say it, make a big deal of it, but then he'll go, okay, because he kind of is forced to, because it's not really his call.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, here it is. Trump administration rejects California request for wildfire disaster assistance. That's according to The Hill. I mean, he was just here, wasn't he? He did a whole tour. It's not like it's fake news. He can't claim that's a fake request. I mean, do the right thing.
50 seconds.
I think he'll do the right. I can't see his administration going, hey, that's a great way to get votes, by nobody in California. I mean, you still win some votes, right? No, maybe so. Whatever.
30 seconds.
I know a lot of people in California that love Trump.
There's two sides to all that story, so I don't know.
All right. I'll wait.
There's a reason why he's doesn't want to send money.
It's called stupidity. That's what the reason is. A family member needs help. What do? You help him out if you can. Unless, that's right. He's worth millions, but he can't help anybody. It's not even his money.
No.
It's the people.
2 seconds.
So there you go. Welcome back. This is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience there, Facebook, Periscope TV, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. We're switching gears up just a bit from fashion to what the what. Here's a headline, and I get it. If you don't live in California, you didn't have to go through the wildfires. You're kind of like, it's all right, no big deal, right? Here's the headline, and I saw this yesterday, and I thought maybe there's more to the story. Jesse claims there is, so I don't know. We'll find out. Trump administration rejects California request for wildfire disaster assistance. So here's the headline, and here's how the story reads. California Governor Gavin Newsom's office said the Trump administration rejected the state's request for a disaster declaration following 6 wildfires that tore through the state earlier this year, including the largest single blaze in the state's history. Brian Ferguson, a spokesperson for the governor's office of emergency services, actually said to a news media outlet, the request for a major presidential disaster declaration for early September fires has been denied by the federal administration. The Hill has reached out to the White House and the Federal Emergency Management Agency for comment. Newsom penned a letter to President Trump on September 28th requesting the disaster declaration following a string of wildfires. The governor noted that the state's economy had been significantly damaged by the COVID-19 pandemic, the major wildfires, and poor air quality. Anybody that breathed in any of that bit of air, trust me, it was no fun. He wrote that infrastructure damage estimates exceeded $229 million. Newsom wrote this: federal assistance is critical to support physical and economic recovery of California and its communities. The longer it takes for California and its communities to recover, the more severe, devastating, and irreversible the economic impacts will be. Governor wrote that the pandemic-related restrictions and social distancing had interfered with typical evacuation procedures and requiring the state to use hotel rooms instead of congregate shelters. According to Newsom, he said Californians are exhausted. The Creek Fire, the largest wildfire in the state's history, scorched 341,722 acres across Fresno. The Bobcat Fire burned another 115,796 acres. The El Dorado Fire, which was started by a pyrotechnic device, we all remember that. Yeah, that was no fun. Used to generate colored smoke for a gender reveal party, burned more than 22,000 acres in the San Bernardino National Forest. The 3 other wildfires in the request were the Valley Fire in San Diego County, the Oak Fire in Mendocino County, and the Slater Fire in Siskiyou County. More than 4 million acres of California has burned in wildfires this year. And the denied request highlights the relationship with Newsom and Trump. But you know what I say? Stupidity breeds more stupidity. Here's why I say that. Look, stop thinking about your little beef feud and just bury the hatchet, because you guys don't got to live. Okay, Newsom does somewhat, but let's face it. You got people needing the help. All right. So look, this is a long string of things that I just keep seeing happen over and over again. If they're nice to me, I might help them out. That's a dictator. Okay, I'm going to call that out. That's not a elected presidential candidate. Soon, you're currently a nominee, right? I mean, you kind of want votes, right? You kind of want to do the right thing. So look, I get it. Put California. Look, I want to say this. I'm going to say this. Whoever's listening from the administration, hey, give them a call and say, you do realize California is one of the 50 states, right? Like, you do realize Puerto Rico isn't just an island. They're kind of a necessity to help out as well. You do realize that this is kind of your job. You do realize that even though you're not accepting pay, supposedly, that, federal government and, it's a thing when states request. It's not like, oh, well, I'm giving you a little handout, so you better kiss my feet. It doesn't roll that way here in the United States of America. So I'm not sure what's going on with President Trump's mentality. And I get all of you that love President Trump here in California, because I know many of you, and I've gone toe to toe with each and every one of you. But seriously, and I get it. Some would be like, well, can you blame them? There's stupid people starting fires. Okay, I'll give you that one. There are dumb people starting fires. I'm not going to lie. And then there's some that are made to be exasperated by all the conditions that we have. Back to our firefighters, okay? Hello. These are the frontline workers, literally putting themselves in harm's way. So all my point is, Trump, get off your butt. You obviously got a lot of going on there because you're campaigning. And look, here's what I think. I think Trump just forgot to sign off on it. and he got so busy, and the Trump administration, they're just going to take the fall for it. How about that? Okay, I'll give you a 1-up on that one. All right, Trump, there you go. See, I get you. I understand it. You can't be in all places all at once. I mean, you could be on Twitter left and right, tweeting stuff, but you can't just say check mark, done, right? Brother, this is the same one that wanted the $1,200 stimulus plan to be in his name. Remember that? Oh yeah, a lot of Californians got that. All right, we'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, let's try to add her. Elise.
Hi.
There you are. Okay, so let me just hold on. All of our audio is being transmitted on the air, so just FYI, I don't know how to mute it. It's a brand new technology that we're trying to get used to. Let me bring you up here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to introduce you right here, right now, okay, to our online audience, but we're not live on the radio. We've got how many minutes on this, Jesse?
We got 2 minutes.
All right, let me straighten you out really quick here. There we go. All right. And let me bring up your B-roll. Okay, cool. All right. Everybody, it's my pleasure to introduce to you somebody who has a brilliant mind, somebody who can literally get it all out there, put it into some really cool computer graphics, and then create it and speak it into existence, quite literally. All around the world, you can see her designs. And I can tell you right now, I am nowhere near the idea of as an artistic person as this woman is, but she is with us, just waiting in the wings over there. Elise, what's it like going on in California? Because I understand you're not here in California. Do you even visit it every now and then?
Hi, Aaron. Thank you for having me and introducing me. So I have done some projects in California. In fact, before all this going on, I actually come to California quite often. Almost every other week, or it depends if I have a project. So one time I had a project, I had to stay in LA for 20 days to complete the one of the homes. It was a pretty large mansion, 6,000 square feet house. Well, for California, it's like normal.
Not in my neck of the woods, it isn't. But that's normal for you. But you're used to like huge commercial residential mansions, I would imagine, right?
Right. Majority of my projects are commercial hospitality. I would say 75% of them. However, I do take on residential, and they're usually pretty large.
Okay, Elise, we'll bring you right back. Okay, just hang tight. Okay, we'll be right back. Thanks, Jesse.
We got 2 seconds till we come back.
All right, thank you. That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience there, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, and of course, Apple TV. Glad to have you with us. Don't forget our app, KMET 1490 AM, where you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and many, many more places. Joining us right now, all the way from somewhere around the world, is somebody whose fashion, my jaw dropped to the floor when I saw some of these really, what I call, some of them even very futuristic designs, which I was like, this exists? This is in a real world? Because it almost looks like a movie set, each and every one of her designs. I'm talking about somebody who's joining us right now, Elise Kochelnikova. Elise, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Elise, your interior designing is a second to none. I've never honestly thought. I mean, I've gotten into places I go, wow, this is beautiful. Like this architecture. I don't know if you've been to European countries and you step in and you go and you look at architectures that's been there forever. And some of these by famous artists, Leonardo da Vinci, and many more. And you step into them, and their pieces are forever felt by those that step into them. I would imagine, like hundreds of years later, at least, people are going to step into your designs. Is there one that you think like we all should at least visit?
Yeah, definitely. That's the ideal goal, of course, for every artist. So to leave something behind, and that's definitely exactly one of my biggest goals. I actually do travel the world. I came back from Singapore, China, Australia before the COVID started. So that's exactly what I do. I visit a lot of museums. I study Leonardo da Vinci. I study all the greatest artists, greatest architectures. And as an artist, for me to find an inspiration, and that's the biggest thing, that's the best way to do. And I advise a lot of new interior designers, just travel, just look at some other artists' work, go to the hotel, go to the homes, the realtors constantly do the open houses. Look at the architecture, look at the designs the other people created. So for me, I have that ability to travel the world, and that's what helping me. Every time I have a new design, I look for inspiration, and they just popped up from previous wherever I went, last year or 5 years ago. So.
Yeah, look, some of these I almost want you to create. If NASA had to go into space and get into Mars, I think we need your designs ready to go at a moment's notice. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I don't know if I told you that before, but this is my biggest dream. I want to be the first designer who designed a hotel on Mars. I had this dream since I was I don't know, really young.
No, I never knew that, but it makes sense. We need to hook you up with. Do we know anybody? I think we know a few engineers that can make a connection.
Oh, that would be amazing. That's definitely my dream, and everyone laughs at me. But yeah, I would love to do that.
Well, and for our radio audience, I guess it's very difficult to transmit what it is, your vision and or style, but you probably have better words than I can come up with. We came with sleek, sexy, and just futuristic is what we've kind of come up with. Can you describe personally your own vision? Because I know the ladies out there have so many more versions of color that I can never. I'm like, it's green. You're like, that's not green, that's lime.
Avocado green. Well, actually, I don't have a style, or I don't know how to explain that. So I went to college for 5.5 years for interior design, and I constantly hear from, I still can hear my professor saying, you don't have a style, you're an interior designer, you can put anything together. And so when people ask me, what is that your style you can design? And I hear that professor, we don't have a style, we are the artists, we are the designers, we can put anything together. So that's my style, I can put anything together to be traditional, contemporary, modern, organic, any style. I feel like I can put it together. I have done. There's certain styles I don't really post on my website sometimes. However, if you look at it, I do have modern, I have contemporary, I have traditional. So I guess, I don't know if it explains the question, but I guess the professor right here in my ear, you can never say you have one style. You're the interior designer,
I think that speaks volumes about obviously your professor, and I would imagine you've got along the way. Well, I gotta ask, where did this start? Where did this love? Because it almost seems like this is just locked up somewhere in your brain, almost like if you had a past life, you were one of these artists in a past life. Does that make sense?
Right. So as long as I remember, around 10 years old, this is when I came up to my parents. I'm like, I'm going to design hotels, out of nowhere. My dad was in construction. So instead of to go summer camp, I would go work with him. to construction sites. So he taught me how to build houses with laying bricks, and when I was 10 years old. So I always knew, and sometimes I do question it myself as well. It comes to the people ask me, how did you design this restaurant? I'm like, oh, it took me this much time. I just don't know it. And maybe I did, maybe I was a designer in a past life or something, but it comes easier, or maybe because I went through all this school, and school is easy. Today design school is really, really hard. You sleep for 2 hours a day for 5-6 years. Yeah, lots of homework.
What and I guess somebody from the outside looking in doesn't understand what that's like. And I was thinking, to be honest, during COVID, that's one of the classes that can be done virtually for those young budding, the other 10, 15, 20-year-olds, and even young adults who your fashions, like I said, your fashion sense and your styles is a completely elevated version of what I think many go, I couldn't even do that in my dreams. But for the person starting off, how do you think they should during and or pre-COVID?
Well, you have a good point. Right now, I went to school in 2005 and I graduated in 2008. So that was my first interior design degree, associate degree. And I mean, although I did learn some of the softwares, I had a good school. Luckily, fortunate I was able to. But however, I went back to school in 2017 for 2.5 more years just to learn new software. I went back, same school, same program, and I had to retake all the classes I took 10 years prior. I took exactly same classes, but now it's so much different. Everything is virtual. Everything is computerized. You can sit at home and make millions on YouTube and online. So there's so many tools available for people right now. You don't need to draw by hand what we used to have to do.
Right.
There's so many master classes. There's so many interior designers offering color theory classes, and you have to take the color classes. You have to learn how to, primary colors, how to combine. So take step by step, but there's so many tools for free. Like I look right now on YouTube's and masterclass. I used to pay, I paid over 100,000 for my school, but right now it's given to you for free. When I went to school, we didn't have a social media, we didn't have a YouTube, we didn't have anything.
Right.
And so there's so much information right now. And so, but I would advise to take the small classes, take the color classes, take the, space planning classes. It will help. It will help. And I think what I had to go through 5.5 years, you can easily accomplish within a year. Easily. And probably for free on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I agree with you. It sometimes I get hit up by certain things that I currently do, and I'm like, you can find it all on YouTube. You just have to spend the time, right? It's a lot of investment of time, but not as much as again, okay, let me ask you this. This is a completely off the topic conversation, but we had a very smart individual about a week and a half ago talk about forward thinking materials that not only were like bulletproof, but were storm proof, were like disaster proof. They have like 3, 4, 5, I think 6 hours of burn time. I can't remember. It was a while back. And he was talking about what he foresaw as being the type of, in order to create a financially stable home, obviously you want to be able to be very like creative, right? You don't want just like a cookie cutter box. But have you ever thought of like lending your talents also to like a futuristic home that is also not only economical, but can save even people from getting, worst case on the streets?
Yeah, definitely. So just to explain, when you're an interior designer, there are only 10% from the creativity. Every 90% when we design, we concentrate on safety, sustainable and all that. So about 10% we actually add to looking pretty and color coordinated. There's only 10% from the project. Everything else we definitely concentrate on, you know, in commercial hospitality, it's number one is safety, where the exit signs, you know, if it's a fire, where people gonna run, you know, stuff like that. So in school, you know, also safety. So we always have to pay attention to certain stuff like that. And sustainable design is a big hit right now. So recycling material using and stuff like that, definitely.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to marry his forward thinking of certain materials that he's brought over here to the States, and then marry your creative visual, and then I think people will just be like, I need all of that, right? Dream home that you could ever like create. What are the top 3 things you must have in your own space, out of curiosity, when it comes to like a residential home?
Okay, so the hardest thing for me is to create my own home. My house is super minimalistic. Everything's white. I like it clean line, and it's super minimalistic. And people sometimes come to like visit me at my home, and they're like, I would think you're the designer. It would be an amazing design. It's, you know, for me, like I'm the worst client for myself. Is that what you were asking?
Wait, what do you mean, like the worst client? Like you would ask yourself and you would be like, I don't know what I want, just do it nice, or what? How do you like? How do you get into a client's head and say? Because some clients are like, I just like this, or they, you know, and you got to be like, what about this? Because you do it all virtually first, then you could take out, you could leave in, right?
Well, I create renderings, I create virtual reality as well. So when they put goggles on, they can literally walk through the space, and it looks so real. Yeah, during COVID-19, that's all I did. I would just put my goggles and I sit in coffee shop I design.
But you could, so you're utilizing, which one is that? Like the I think Microsoft has a HoloLens. There's a couple other new cool Oculus.
Oculus. I only have Oculus. I love it. That was my first goggles that I purchased. I love them. You know, they just came up with a new one I haven't purchased yet. I haven't even tried any other one. They're so great, so amazing. I know I could take it in the next level, but however, I don't want to get into so much technology. I'm already, you know, using and creating myself, and I build everything myself. It's not like someone I hire. So Oculus, I've used it for a couple of years. I love it. I very inexpensive. I buy goggles, brand new goggles for my clients as well. They in $300. A new one came out $299. Very affordable, and when people put it on, you are in that space. The only problem is when you are there for a couple more minutes, when you take it off, it's like, okay, where's the reality? And where am I? Put me back to my
the back and forth. Yeah, the wait. Which is reality, right? Yeah, I get that on some of these programs.
Because it takes time to adjust, because my render is so realistic. So like everything I do is, sometimes even I put it on, I'm like, did I create this? So
I feel like
your body needs to adjust.
Yeah, at least I feel like you and I could brainstorm, because I just got off yesterday with La Femme Film Festival, and we were talking about COVID-19, and we were talking about production in certain areas. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to be able to do a whole movie completely virtually with 2 people in completely different parts of the town, one in New York, one in California, or wherever around the world. Some of them are going to Australia, but they have such stringent ways to do so. But back to your ability to create hyper realistic settings that like. You now took my mind to another level, which is basically put 2 actors in a completely different space. Like the one that's behind you reminds me of the set. Do you remember? Did you ever see Matrix?
Oh, of course. It's my favorite movie.
Okay. all of ours. Well, not there's some ladies that don't like it, but my point is this: your background. I mean, I hope they don't shoot it up. But my point is, like, you could put 2 actors in that space because technically you could create a 3D space and you can move within the 3D space along with the person as well. Am I not correct?
Yeah, I can put anyone. Sometimes, I create a 3D of me, so I can put myself into it and do animated and say like, oh, here's your new room and this and that, and I can put anyone. And as long as I create a 3D model, that's what I do. So when I create 3D rendering, they're all realistic. All the items are exactly what's going to be purchased. So I do have someone work for me who creates the 3D models. He provides me a 3D models, and I just throw it in a different software. So I use so many different softwares. So I just added to a software, and nowadays it's so much easier to create 3D model. You can just body scan yourself, give me the 3D model. We can add animation, we can add your voice, we can play TV, anything you want. Virtual reality is the future. It's actually present right now.
I'm glad you said that because it's how you use it, especially, like I said, during coronavirus. I mean, we're going to learn a lot of different ways of thinking outside the box. I hope this doesn't last too long, but however long it lasts, I know that we have the ability to still make art out of nothing. And I feel that that's not only your super gift, it's your amazing talent. And I believe within the years ahead, you're going to do some amazing projects, many of which are going to be seen by Leonardo da Vinci himself, because I'm pretty sure like he, is up there going, that's a pretty good design. I would never have thought of that. Right. So keep doing what you're doing. For those out there that are kind of like hitting their head up against the wall saying, I don't know that I can do anything near something as grand as this. Where should they draw inspiration from? Because I see a lot of your creations kind of being inspired by places either you've seen, you've traveled to, and or you just kind of feel come out of your head.
It's travel. Travel is the best. I do read a lot of books. I do look at the Pinterest, but traveling is the best. I went to Bali for a month and a half, and I had to design a restaurant, and right away I thought about some of the places I saw in Bali, and it's just like boom, 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 and it stores in your brain. When you're creative, when you're a visual person, you store everything you see within a couple of seconds. Right away I can see it kind of memorized in my brain, and when I need it, it just pops up.
So you got like you got a visual memory, right? You can probably recall anywhere you've been, no matter where you've been in that moment, as though you were there.
Yeah. I can probably remember a person I spoke to 10 years ago, and I would remember colors of the shirt they wore. I wouldn't remember their name, which is bad. I'm working on it.
You're the second person I've ever met that knows exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. I totally get it. And it's scary. You can never win a fight with her, is my point. You can never win a fight because she knows what you were wearing, when you were wearing, how you were wearing it, right? It's just like, no, I remember you put your glasses in your pocket and you left them there. There you go. Right, Elise? Am I wrong?
Right.
No, see. All right. So I've been there, done that. Okay. Elise, thank you so very much for spending time with us. How can people get more information about your great sense of style and much, much more? Because you post it all on Instagram. You got a huge following.
Yeah. Well, I need to keep posting more. Instagram, LinkedIn as well. Facebook, little bit on Facebook, but of course my website. I just created a new page for virtual reality only. But if you go on my website, veloxinterior.com, there is a page tab for virtual reality. You click it and take you to a new website. So if you're interested in a virtual reality and there are some samples, you can just click on it and you can see it in virtual reality from my website. So there are 3 dots and there's option to see in virtual reality.
Okay.
As well, all of my portfolio, commercial, residential, hospitality, and I get questions often. People ask me, "Oh, did you buy the pictures you posted on your website?" I'm like, why would I buy the picture and post it as my portfolio? So all the pictures work. No, nothing have
it's
been
all
bought.
at least we're out of time. We're out of time. We'll have to have you back. We'll talk to you again. Everybody else, download our app. Elise is over there. Go check her out on Instagram. I'll repost some of her stuff. I love it. It's great. We'll be back next week, everybody. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well.
Thank you.
All right. And for the rest of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Look, it's not every day you get to meet a genius at work. Seriously, it was very difficult to track this lady down. And I will tell you one thing. I appreciate art next to the next person. I have an appreciation of art because I like to draw. I love to sketch. And ever since I was a young kid, I loved to draw. I'm not good at painting. I'm not good at color matching. I'm terrible at that stuff. If I like to draw, I like to draw usually in charcoal and or graphite or the like. And I'm not very experimental with that. But I will say, growing up as a youth, I never thought financially. I don't know what was in my head. Really, I never thought financially I could ever make sense of it all. I just thought, I don't know, there was a part of my brain that says you have to make money at this. And the other part of my brain going, how the heck are you going to make money with little drawings that you like to draw? Because I like drawing comic books, right? But I never knew that I could be better than what I like drawing. I didn't think that there was a career for me. I don't know what was in my head. And honestly, I evidently didn't have the right people in my head is my point. I didn't have the right professor. I didn't have the right mentor. I didn't have anybody that said to me, you know what? There's money to be made in that business. And interior designing, I've met a lot of really talented interior designers, many of which do a lot of residential, very few that do both business and or residential. That makes it like a place of luxury. And if you see her products out there, literally, because they are products featured, some of them are, you know, maybe like, I think you saw them. Let me go through the list again. I'm going to pull up the video really quick here. So that some of you, if you just tuning in, if you can understand the level of design behind this, you step in, you automatically know like worth $1 billion, right? It's like, just, and I feel that if you get that in a space of like, just, I mean, for some people, that's like not enough color, right? So you got to add a splash of color. And then for others, it's just so sleek, modern, and I feel very futuristic that this is the type of home you go, oh, I got to have billions of dollars for that, right? And I forgot to ask how much one of these designs could cost. Although that tub right there, I want to just soak in looking over, I believe that is Vegas, but which I believe she frequents very regularly. But my point is this, because she's got designs in some of these hotels that you've probably visited and or paid lots of money just to spend a night in, right? So I'm saying if you could just like appreciate the beauty and the simplicity all at the same time, you could totally understand what's in this woman's brain, right? And the human brain is so amazing when it's unlocked and untethered by people that tell you one thing, say you can't do it, you're not able to, versus the youth that's in maybe your life or maybe even in yourself to say, you know what, there are so many tools of the trade. Don't let financial inopportunity stop you from learning, right? She mentioned something, and again, this is coming from a very bright mind, a very professional mind, to say, look, go on YouTube, get some of these new programs. I used to sell windows, air conditioning. I would create little mock-ups of people's homes, and they had 3D modeling. It was very basic. You could pop in like a chair, and it was like a, you know, very basic chair. You could move around a window and say, okay, this is a picture of your house. This is what it would look like with that window put right there. And you can create kind of a visualization for them. So I can appreciate how much time it takes to make a design like this, one of which is a now very hyper realistic. You almost don't know which of these is done in the actual program and or actual locations that you can visit, right? So that's how cool these programs are now. And a lot of these are available for you at a fraction of the price of what they used to be, right? So I guess, and look, our other fashion creator, designer extraordinaire doing his thing as well, doing it for a, I guess if I could take one theme from this entire show, it is this: do not let people, if you are artistically inclined, do not let people stop you there, right? I've met so many people and women in general that are like, I would just love to design a whole house. I'd love to make that my future. And some have stopped themselves quite adamantly so, because they're like, I don't know where to begin, right? And they have a great eye. I've seen some take a very empty space and make it into a space that everybody's like, I will buy the house, right? I've met people like that, and yet they don't make it a career because financially they just don't know where to start. I met others from HGTV, which are very well known in their own right, and make some great TV appearances, but still are hurting financially because things have kind of dried up, somewhat speaking. But when you deal with the world scene and you deal with very high profile clients, obviously, I mean, you don't need a lot, I would imagine. I didn't ask her book of business, but so for the person out there though, you can never, sometimes some people don't make a dime ever, others make a really good living, and then others still more just do it because they love it. And then they get paid for it, right? So hopefully you are the type that at least doesn't let opportunity stop at your own mindset. Does that make sense? Well, I guess my inspirational moment of the day is this: if you have a first love, and what I mean by that is, recently I talked to, I think, 3 people that were all very depressed, very sad, very just sad. We'll just put it like that, very sad. And to one of them, I finally decided to think outside the box and say, well, what did you enjoy doing when you were a kid? What was the activity that you really enjoyed? Maybe at the age of 6. Okay. And if you think for a minute, what was it? What did I enjoy doing at 6? Because at that age, usually you weren't told what you had to be or what you had to do. In fact, you probably had different ideas about your future, right? You asked like the younger self, I might post that in social media at some point. What did you think you were going to be or wanted to be when you were young, right? I know for me, I wanted to be, honestly, I wanted to be an astronaut. That was number one. Then I went to SeaWorld and I was like, I want to be that person because I want to be the one with the dolphins, right? I wanted to be that person. I didn't know how much work was involved about being a marine biologist. I just figured you could get in the water with the dolphins. And evidently you can sign up for that, and it's not that cheap. Oh, it is cheap. It's not anymore. Coronavirus. Got it. Okay. Lockdown. But my point is this. Okay. So obviously I would start to kind of like, oh, that's not possible. Oh, that's not possible. Oh, that's not possible. But you know what? I saw a documentary, speaking of NASA and Mars. Okay. Mars is very real. The youth of this generation are so ahead. Their brains are brainiacs. They are amazing. They're able to like engineer and create things. These are young youth because they're training them at a very early age, hoping that by the time they're ready to go up into space, the project really is to terraform Mars, right? So, and I know I always say, try to fix the Earth you're on, but forward thinking into Mars, you got to start somewhere, right? So the youth of this generation, I can't remember the documentary. Hold on. It's on Netflix. I'll look it up right now for you. Those of you still tuning in. If I could recommend a documentary, it really is one that I say, show this to the youth that are in your life. Okay. Even if you're older, you're going to be like, maybe I can do it. You right. Okay. Maybe not. I don't know. But going to Mars, and these are youth. It's called hold on. Yeah, here it is. The Mars Generation is what it's called. I bring it up on Netflix, but I don't want to get dinged for copyright infringement. Let me see if I can get but it's called The Mars Generation. It came out in 2017, and yeah, here it is. Let me bring this up on it's going to take me too long, but look it up, The Mars Generation. And it basically talks about aspiring teenage astronauts that reveal that a journey to Mars is closer than you think. And it really is. When you talk to these youth, or you see them talk about they're wanting to go into space. Some of them would be happy to die in space. I'm like, you know what? I got nothing to lose. Why not? I would be right there with them. Maybe. I don't know. I sometimes think about the whole, like, I think I've seen too many movies. Remember that one with Sandra Bullock? That one did me in. I think that one that took my love of outer space and said to me, I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. Right. Cause I was kind of, I correct me if I'm wrong. If you've seen it, you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'd be able to escape from a disaster like that. But thankfully that doesn't happen more often than not. Right. It doesn't. But my point is this. Okay. Whatever your journey is, sometimes your journey starts with not letting people tell you, no, you cannot do that. Sometimes your journey starts and ends by you believing someone else and what they have set out for you. You understand what I mean by that? Some people, and this is unfortunate. I remember having a conversation with somebody, and she was, I want to say, I really don't know her age, but I want to say she was in her mid 60s. Okay. And she was writing a book on her own. She didn't want to publish it, but she was just writing it. She just wanted to write it just for writing's sake. And the recommendation that I had for her was, you know, you can self-publish and you can still get it like written. It's not hard. You just go to Amazon. There's a publishing thing. You pay to have it published, and then you can get your book. It's done. I mean, granted, I would go a couple more steps, get somebody in to kind of, you know, pre-edit it and then get really good, fancy, at least, a cover, but you can write your own book nowadays. I mean, it's called Create Space via Amazon. Look it up. And so if you've ever had a story in you, get it on paper or type it out. Get it done. There's nothing to prevent you nowadays. Shoot, you can create a movie with your iPhone. I mean, or your Android, right? That's how cool they are nowadays. The technology has gone from what used to be. I was looking at a $40,000 camera yesterday because it was recommended by the friends over at La Femme Film Festival 2020. Big shout out to them. You can go get your tickets right now. Go type it in, La Femme Film Festival. We've been broadcasting all week about it. But you got filmmakers that oftentimes spend a lot of money for production, but some of them not so much. They do so on a shoestring budget. One I talked to that only did it with $1,000. I mean, they call it a lot of favors, but evidently $1,000 probably went to equipment or something. I don't know. There's nothing stopping. You know, look, I hear of people all the time that say this. Well, I can't afford that school. You know, the best version of learning is on-the-job training, meaning A, go help somebody if you can. But again, coronavirus is going to make it difficult. B, do your own thing. And C, learn while doing. Okay. Look, a lot of people always ask me, oh, what school did you go to in order to get into broadcasting? Honestly, I learned it all by doing. I do all of my own productions. I've learned how to get from point nothing to point, oh, that's simple. This is how you do it. And sometimes people ask me for information for free. And oftentimes I can say, oh yeah, you do this, and that. And then they don't do anything with it because they don't want to put in the time invested. I'm said, well, that's up to you. That's on you. And then I have people pay me, and then they actually do something with it. So it's weird. You hand things out for free. People don't appreciate it. You get paid for it, and all of a sudden they put it into action because it's called an investment in time and money. And you don't want, right? Unfortunately, I think don't be the person who gets it for free and does nothing with it. You understand? Sometimes professionals out there will take somebody under the wing and they'll mentor them. I know because I've had quite a few that I've mentored in this profession, one of which is currently a fantastic operator of camera equipment, switcher, does the whole 9 yards. And she came to me when she was, I want to say 16 and a half. There was a special organization at the time called Latino Graduate. Shout out to my biological father who actually started it up, and I helped out with him. And they would bring in kids from, I think, Montebello High School and other surrounding ones, which had like kids that wanted to get into the film and or media business, right? And so we had a very basic setup, okay? And this was about, I want to say 12 years ago when I was just starting out. But I learned fast, furiously. I was like, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I had to look it all up, right? I had to research it myself, figure it out. I had nobody telling me, honestly. I just had to kind of figure it out for myself. But I met this 16-and-a-half-year-old, shout out to Candy, amazing young adult who's now in her mid-20s. But I said, well, what do you want to do? She says, well, honestly, I just want to produce. I said, well, so does everybody that gets into media. Okay, do you understand what a producer does? Which, by the way, I remember when I got in, I asked, what does a producer do? He says, well, basically you bring funding, and if you've been in sales, you could just it's easy. You just network and you get a lot of people to fund your project. I need a project made, and so maybe you could help me get my script made, and it's just basically asking for money. Oh, I could do that, no problem. All right, so fast forward, I learned it's not that easy, by the way, because you got to make sure you have a filmmaker, writer that says they will take money no matter what, and they don't have to direct it. Okay, so then I learned there were 5 different projects I got tied into. I brought the potential investor, and each and every time, it wasn't me who blew it out of the water. It was the writer friend who says, no, I want to direct this. Have you ever directed? We're bringing a lot of money. No, but I want to direct it. We'll keep you as a writer, but we're going to have somebody else direct. No, I want to direct it. Well, there that money went. I had that happen to me a total of 5 times. So I said, you know what? I'm fed up helping people that don't want to help themselves. I say, take the money, get it made, get your credit, use the money, and move on. Each and every one of those filmmakers, and if they're watching, they know who they are they still don't have a feature film made. It's sad. They're still sitting there hoping somebody gives them the money to do everything. To which I say, well, then just do it yourself. Go crowdfund the money yourself. Do it yourself. Do your own film and do it yourself, because people are doing that now, right? You don't even have to wait for 4.3 million. One of them I was trying to get 3.4 million. One I was getting 4.8 million. Another we were going for about 50 million budget, but then I found out through the grapevine he ruined that opportunity because he hit on the girl who was the money person, and she was engaged to be married. And I said, I can't help a guy that hits on the girl that's trying to like get the setup set up, and it was with a huge firm. Don't be your own worst enemy, I tell people. I always tell people, don't be your own worst enemy, okay? So I walked away from people like that because I was like, you know what? I'm trying to help you. I'm bringing you the book of business. I'm bringing you financial needs. But financial people that have the financial money make the rules, okay? They do. If you got a film and you're not willing to say to the person who brings in the money, yeah, I wanted to direct that. Can I kind of direct it? Can I direct a scene? Yeah, okay. Look, don't go for broke. But get something under your belt, get your credit, and then move on. I see so many creatives out there that get so stuck to their first passion project that unfortunately they end with their passion project. They never continue. To which I admire those that do it on a shoestring budget, do a version of it. Look, there's so many filmmakers right now that are inspiring me. I just did a whole Zoom call yesterday with a bunch of filmmakers. Shout out to Leslie Lepage over there at Film Festival, La Femme Film Festival, which we were talking to a lot of creatives. Okay, I'm just going to put it there. Whether they be men or women, it doesn't really matter. They're creatives. Okay, at the end of the day, it just happens to be a La Femme Film Festival by women for all. Because unfortunately, the men have kind of sequestered ladies, being like, "Oh yeah, no, you're the additional help. You're not the person." Which of those projects that I originally took on, 3 were of women, which I believed in. Okay, one was a horror. I hate horrors, but I pitched it, and she was in front of the person that was able to give her the money. Literally. And instead of calling me a producer, because the person said you only have one producer you could call on this project, she chose her other friend who wasn't even the producer friend that brought her the contact. It was my contact. So the contact was like, this person's going to renege on the deal once you go through with it, because I just told them they could only have one producer. They chose their other producer. That person didn't even bring them to me. There's a lot of backbiting in this business. If you get anything, get it in writing, okay? Don't accept even a handshake. Okay. I've done a lot of handshakes that have gone good, and I've done a lot of handshakes that have gone bad. And if somebody's not willing to put pen to paper, then there you go. Okay. So my point is this, back to being creative. You can be a creative, but if each and every one of those had done the right thing and just signed off on the deal, I would have made a pretty penny, because I think my finding fee was like 5% of the full amount raised, right? So you make 5 million, bring in for a film project, you make 5%, boom, anywhere from 3 to 5%. Sometimes it was a sliding scale, but you bring in that type of money, that's good money. You understand? That was $250,000. Boom, done. Did I do the math wrong? 5%, 10%, 500,000. Yeah, that's about right. So my point is this, people, don't be your own worst enemy. Okay. If you're not getting paid, or you are not already you're the writer, you want to be the director, I get it, then direct something, do it low budget, do a short. So many filmmakers that I'm seeing now are doing mini shorts that look like a film, but they don't have the budget for a film, but it's a good, what they call a pitch to an investor. Plus, it shows the investor their idea of vision of them being able to direct. But sometimes a first-time director cannot direct a big budget film. They just don't have it in them because they haven't gotten there far, right? They haven't done it. Even the greats took them a little bit more than the average. But again, many learn by doing. Some go to school, and that's great. It gives you a good leg up. But I've seen so many pay into school, they don't do anything with it. You're like, what did you go to school for? And they don't do anything with it. So whatever, and again, I find that this is usually the case when the parents are so adamant, you need to do this, versus letting the kid say, no, I want to do this. You know what? You do that. In addition, can you add business administration? Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Right? So if you're the type of parent, and I talk to a lot of kids where their parents and or teachers talk them out of something that they end up doing later on in life. I talked to one fashion designer who is a fantastic manager, high-level paying job at Home Depot, but on her off time created a designing label, which was pretty well known on the East Coast. And she got so well known, she got featured in high fashion profile, like fashion shows. But at the end of the day, there was a conversation she and I had, to which I wish she would have said, you know, I'm just gonna swallow my pride. And the deal was made to her that her designs could have been featured at Nordstrom. I said, why didn't you take the deal? Well, because I don't want another label owning my label. You can create a new label after that, but you could be well known, like, you know, because that's how good her fashion was. Do you get it? Her fashion idea, fashion-wise, women would buy at Nordstrom, top dollar. Granted, fashion design, you don't get paid a lot, but you do. It's called in quantity and branding. Very important, branding. So I kind of said to her, I would have taken the deal. You can always take it and then run with it, create more, and then recreate again. Because you can look, nobody owns you. You understand that? Nobody owns you. They might own your project, but they don't own you. And you can always pivot and do something else. It's true. I know many people that do that. So they create labels that aren't even them, and they make that live on. Don't believe me? Look up some of the top designers in the world that have built a brand around a logo, right? Dolce and Gabbana, what was it? Chanel, right? It's a beautiful label and brand. It's a brand, but people pay top dollar. But reality is that was at a time people could pay top dollar, right? I don't know if everybody can pay top dollar now. But my point is this. Sometimes you got to take the money and run, okay? And then run with your next project, your next idea. Don't let it stop there. Don't let you get in the middle of you. Back to that fashion designer. The fashion designer learned a very heavy lesson later when their whole shopping place on the East Coast got flooded. And financially, it was already in arrears, not just because of the location. Family life was going amok. There were so many things going wrong there. I felt bad. And a part of me wanted to say, just take the deal and run. Go back into Nordstrom and just say, you know what? I'm ready. But sometimes opportunities come and sometimes they go. They come and we second guess it, we overthink it, and we think, well, if they're making an offer, how much more can somebody else make an offer? And we get greedy. And I get it. If you're like Christopher Nolan, you want to shop it around. If you're Jim Lee, very famous comic book artist, you want to shop it around. But almost guaranteed, the majority of those started off very difficult. And they let their work speak for themselves eventually. But they were committed at the very beginning. Don't feel you are the highest one in your own caliber of mind to say, oh, I'm at that level. You got to prove it. And you got to get paid for it. All right, so there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Let's go to the comments and social media. Let's see. Maria says, well, she's awesome. Wow. Right? I know. That's awesome. That's how I felt when I saw some of her creative designs. I liked one, and all of a sudden it went to my social media profile. I was like, whoa, I didn't mean to share it, but it went there. I'm like, it's all right. It's amazing designs. Let's see. Fran says, I am totally what I wanted to be. I am an elementary school teacher. You see? And how happy are you for it? Let's see. Maria says this. I wanted to be a truck driver and DJ at the radio station, but am a nurse practitioner at the moment. Let's see. Rosalie says, I wanted to be an attorney, but my dad discouraged me. Yeah, I know. That's my point. Let's see. Fran does say this. I wanted to be an actress, but I believe it or not, teaching is really similar. Because you got to act like you're patient with them. Huh? No, but look, at the end of the day, and I know it, I'm the first one to admit it. There are some professions that are very artistic, but don't pay a lot. But ask somebody who knows. You don't know how many people hit me up on LinkedIn, Facebook, asking for tips of the trade. But they went to school for it, right? So they went to school. Sometimes I get others that just go, have me on your show. Very demanding. I'm like, oh, okay, well, get in line. And then there are others that are just like, not very grateful. And what I mean by that is not that you have to be grateful for information or time given, but they're just like, hey, I want to pick your brain over coffee. You want to pick my brain over coffee? Kind of hoping for a bigger meal than coffee, but okay, sure. And I've done that. I've done that when I have the time. I don't have the time anymore. And I've done that to push forward because I had so many that I did the same thing with, right? I remember one time I took out a producer friend, comedian extraordinaire, and big shout out to Rick Nahara. And Rick is some of the comedy genius behind In Living Color. Do you remember In Living Color? Did you watch In Living Color? Like Jim Carrey, he wrote some of those comic skits. He's that funny. Rick Nahara, love the guy. And I wanted to pick his brain because I thought, you know what? You got a lot in your head, and I just feel like I need some of it, right? I just need inspiration. I need to know where to go with our show. At the time, I was producing a show with another co-host of mine. And we ended up taking him to dinner because we couldn't get him. He's like, well, I'm doing this acting event. I'm training. But I said, okay, can we buy you dinner? Right. Because I didn't have a lot of money, but I really wanted. And I thought, he needs to eat. Right. We'll meet him right where he was doing his acting training. Right. And I think it was comedy acting training. It was something like that. It was really cool. So we sat in it, took him to dinner, and he's like, look, guys, I'll give you this information. Don't worry about it, And there were like 5 things that he put in there that we ended up doing right away. Like we implemented it right away. There was no money to be made, but it was called experience. And we did what we could do, not knowing anything, right? And there's been others that I've helped out, and I've done so for free. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the stuff, and the way I got into the business throughout time was just saying because they didn't have a budget. I'm like, okay, well, what's no budget? Like some budget? No, I got no budget. Like there's no, like I could buy you tacos. I'll take it. And some just gonna buy me a glass of water. But either point is when you're starting off in this business, sometimes, especially like me, I didn't go to school. So I viewed it as time invested. Do you understand? Sometimes you have to invest the time, invest the resources, invest the energy. Back to why internships get usually the paying job eventually, because unfortunately it's internship gone wild sometimes because certain filmmakers just keep taking advantage of others' freeness of free time. But some of us don't have that anymore, right? I'm the last one to offer any free time anymore. I have to get paid for it financially. I can't do the free stuff anymore. And there gets to be a time where now you say, okay, people got to pay up, right? But my point is this: every now and then a nonprofit or a charity comes, I go, okay, I'll invest my time in or my energy. But there are a lot of creatives out there that are hurting financially, a lot, that don't like to admit it. You know how many actors and actresses and filmmakers and writers and directors are out of a job right now? Financially speaking, a lot. in the coming weeks, I'm going to have, I think, a SAG-AFTRA representative come in, not from SAG-AFTRA, but one of the actors. I think we had scheduled a couple of weeks ago, but it didn't work out. Of actors and actresses not getting paid properly for their health benefits because they have to maintain a certain hour quota. But no, who's thinking of them? Is the government thinking of them? Well, yeah, they say they are. I mean, they're thinking about it. I mean, seriously. How long does it take to get pen to paper if you're a writer, especially an aspiring writer? If you're in government, it's kind of the thing you do, right? How difficult is that to write up? Not very difficult. But look, this isn't a government bashing right here, right now, although it kind of feels like it's coming on. The reality is, look, whatever you set out to do it whole souled, okay? If it is to become a teacher, then throw yourself into that. And do it for the right reason. What I dislike are ones just taking the money and running with it. You understand what I'm saying? They don't invest in the kids. They don't invest in the time. Their heart is completely removed. They're like, ugh, I wish I would have done something else, but I'm taking this because it's a job. Hey, if it puts food on the table, appreciate that you got a job that you could put food on the table. Then appreciate that, right? I recently heard somebody say, well, my job is just so difficult right now. It's this, that, and the other. And I say, you know what? We're going to be in coronavirus, but yeah, but you got a job in a company that's still in business. Right now, pickers can't be choosy. They really can't. I know. But doesn't mean you can't go back in some way, fashion, some fashion or form. If you have some time, if you're sad, depressed, even lonely, think about what lights you up. What is it that lights you up? What was it at age 8 that lit you up before anybody told you what to do? Maybe you're not going to get paid for it. Maybe it's as simple as painting. Maybe it's as simple as making food. Maybe it's as simple as whatever that is. In fact, in social media, I got some of you here. Just think about yourself at the age of 10. You know, kids, if you listen to them and don't squash their dreams. I remember one youth, God bless her soul. She was 12 at the time, and she loved WWE divas. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm going to be a WWE diva. My first thought was to say, shut up, Aaron. That was my first thought. Shut up, Aaron. Don't say a word. I don't know, because you know how many WWE divas I've interviewed on the show? Quite a few. And you know, somebody started it somewhere. So I was like, if that's what she wants, I mean, I don't want the pain for her because it's physically painful. I've talked to WWE divas and wrestlers. I know quite a few that will tell you they hurt. Their joints hurt. I mean, taking a real fall, it's not fun. It's a real fall, right? Some fights, you know what I mean, get a little out of hand and people get hurt. Okay. Bones get fractured. Ligaments get pulled out of place. It's you got to be physically in shape for that stuff. You understand? So I could have given her the 29 yards of why she should refrain from wanting to be a WWE diva. But I said this in my head, shut up, Aaron. Do not squash a potential thought. You understand? Some of you have youth out there. Don't squash the thought. If anything, say, that's interesting. And let them run away with it, right? And I knew in some theory of my head, at some point she suddenly, and I asked her when she was 17, I said, do you remember when you wanted to be a WWE diva? She goes, oh, yeah. I said, do you still want it? No. I was like, okay, then. Well, just, was just wondering. But even if at 17, she said, I want to be a WWE diva, I would be like, let me put you in contact with a couple WWE divas and, maybe they can help you out. Right? Now she wants to be an attorney. She's going to make a great attorney. Smart mind. But it started, this youth, by the way, when I met her, she was 10 and a half. Okay. She was 10 and a half and she was flunking. She was terrible in school. You would have thought this kid just hated school. She was flunking, getting D's, getting C's, behavioral problems, blah, 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 blah. I told her mom, I says, she needs to get tested. I think she's gifted. And there's a program out there for the youth out there. Gifted and talented is what they call it. I think they changed it over the years, whatever it is. But I could tell she was bored because talking to her, she was nonstop. Her brain always going, right? Some call it ADHD, some call it ADD, whatever you call it. Her brain always going. I was like, don't think that somebody that has a label called ADHD doesn't think very fast in their own head. They might think faster than you. They might not be able to get their words out as fast. So they're always high energy. That brain is like a Ferrari stuck in a body. You understand? That Ferrari, if you challenge it and you give it the right amount of nourishment, the right amount of confidence, confidence is a huge one. The right amount of just get up and go. You can make that Ferrari speed for days and it will never get tired out. I look at kids and parents. Sometimes I get upset at parents because I say, your child's highly gifted. You really need to, whatever they want to do, just allow them to experiment. Just allow them. Don't squash them because you never know what's in that child, that young person's path. But you don't want to be the roadblock in their path. And if you're an adult, you don't want other people to keep putting roadblocks in your path. Granted, I get it. There's time and unforeseen occurrence that befall us all. But my point is that sometimes when you put into existence something that you've been wanting to do for quite some time, if you put into existence something that you have in the back of your mind and you say, man, that would make me really happy. Why don't I just try that out? What's the harm? And put that into effect. Maybe I like painting. Maybe I like drawing. Maybe I like writing. Maybe it's not anything creative. Maybe it's like you wanted to create a patent, right? You have an idea for a cool gadget. You have an idea for an app. You have an idea for a website. You have an idea for a TV show. You have an idea. You have all these ideas and they just sit around. So I want you to take this moment and write down. Go ahead, do it. You're not doing anything else, right? You're watching me, so you got to be kind of bored. No, I'm just kidding. Don't be bored. Be happy because you're about to uncover something about yourself you didn't know was possible, okay? I want you to write down 3 things. And I want you to write down what you despise doing. Just 3 things. The first 3 things that come to your head. What do I despise doing and or really dislike? Okay, it could be cleaning. For me, it's cleaning. I'm not going to lie. I heard Elise talking about everything clean. I'm like, oh, you'd hate to be around me because I am the least clean person. Although I'm pretty sure if I had a really clean place, I would probably figure it out, right? I hate cleaning. My mind, I'm like, I already know where everything's at. Don't move it. That's how my mind works. Your mind's cluttered. No, it's not. I know where it's at. Don't move it. That's me. That's me, okay? I hate cleaning. I'm not good at it. What are the other 3? Or 2 for you? Maybe that's not yours, but just write it out. Get it out there. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. You good? Did you figure it out? I'll give you another minute. A second one of mine that I really despise or really dislike is cooking. I don't like it. I don't prefer it. You know what I'd rather do? I prefer to cook maybe for somebody else. I've done that. And then it's unappreciated. I'm like, the last time I'm going to do it for you for whatever. Right? But I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't like standing over a hot stove. I just don't enjoy it. It's not fun to me. It might be fun to somebody else. Cleaning is sometimes fun to somebody else. They're just like, it's so therapeutic. I'm like, look at that. It's all right. It's you. It's not me. And then my third thing, did you get them? 3? Okay. Stick to those 3. All right. Type them out if you wrote them out. Okay. I'm going to commit you to that. Type them out. That's okay. Don't be embarrassed. I just told you like 2 of my most embarrassing moments. The last one is, honestly, I hate going to the restroom. I think it's such a waste of time. I really do. I think it's one of the least bodily, like whoever created us, designed us to be like, right in the middle of like a conversation. I got to go to the restroom. Darn it. This is a really good conversation. Who created that little device, right? I got to go. I just think it's a waste of time. You only have so much time in the day. That's how I view my life now. I have only so much time in the day, almost so much time till I die. I got to make sure I make use of every single second, minute, and or whatever the time is with whomever I'm with. You understand? So I'm that person now. I never used to be that person. I used to be like, whatever. Now I'm like, oh, my time is running out. My gray hairs are showing. Oh my God, I'm going to die soon, right? Whatever time I'm given, I got to do a lot with it, right? I view time differently now. Okay, you got the 3? Done. Okay. And here's one. I'm not going to flash it up, but this person said this. Dishes, organizing, taking phone calls at work. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't like working out. That's be real. Okay. All right. So those are the top 3 that you despise doing or dislike very much, right? We got that out of the way. Good. Okay. Now I want you to focus on 3 things that simply make you really angry. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, I thought I was going to say the other. No, make you really angry. Just write out 3 things that make you really angry. You don't have to share with us if it's like you're going to call somebody out. All right. For me, I'll be real. Somebody that's ungrateful for everything you've ever done for them and pretends like it never even happened. It infuriates me. Number 2, I would say for me, keep writing. Write it out. Get it out. Just get out there. For me, somebody that's stubborn. They don't like to admit when they're wrong. They know they're wrong. They don't like to admit it. You're like, you're wrong. No, I'm not. I'm still right. Can you at least say you're sorry? No. You're going to go through a hard time in life, guaranteed. People don't like to be around people that think they're always right. It's true. That's why I'm always the first one to admit when I'm wrong. I am wrong. So sorry. And 3, pushovers. Oh, pushovers. You know why? I used to be a pushover. Used to be, not anymore. I feel a little push or a tug in a different way. No. Unless you have my best interest at heart. But oftentimes it's never best interest. A pushover. When you get pushed over, you literally, you don't fall and crack your neck, but that's the idea. They push you, right? Maybe not physically, but emotionally, they push you. They push your boundary. You create your boundary. You say, don't step over that line, okay? I know a lot of women that let men push them. I know a lot of young adults that let their parents push them in an incorrect way. There's a push in a proper way. Motivation. I motivate you. I want to keep you motivated. I'm pushing you a little bit to be your best. But don't over push. The kid's going to hate the school for life. Okay. I met so many parents that push their kids to do something they don't even want to do. Now hold on to that thought. Push somebody into something they don't want to do. What is the thing that is in your head right now of what you have been pushed to do that you really dislike, but you do it anyway? All right. Write that down. Good. Thankfully, my parents never really pushed me in any direction. They just kind of let me be. But I kind of wish I knew. Well, we didn't have Google back then. But now you can Google everything and be like, what do I want to get into? Oh, I can Google it all, right? We didn't have that when I was young. So there were things I wanted to get into. I just didn't know you could Google it now. So thank God for Google. But sometimes you have to put people in there in other people's mentorship programs, or say, hey, you happen to do that as a professional. Search out somebody, search out 5 different people, make sure they're not pedophiles, and run a background check. And, and then, see if they could help the person out, right? Mentorship program, right? It's a thing. Okay. Last but not least, write this one out. What is it that makes you want to just say, if I had all the money in the world, I would do this. Never have to work a day in my life, but I would do this. And if I got paid, great. But if I didn't get paid, I don't care. Write that out. I'll be honest. Mine is acting. Okay. Mine is acting. I that's it's honestly my first and only love. I don't like interviewing. I don't like hosting. I don't even like doing I do it because I got into it because I didn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's just put it that way. But honestly, my first love is film. It really is. That's why I love interviewing filmmakers and actors and writers and directors. I just know that wasn't in my immediate path. I've been in a couple projects, but nothing really big. And I love theater, but theaters doesn't pay. So I was like, well, I don't, and as far as the acting thing, that just didn't happen because I was all religious. And I was like, well, don't worry. What if I get stuck kissing a girl? And, that's not religion nice. And what if I'm naked in camera? And I didn't know there were so many other facets. I don't know why I went to that. I automatically went to that thinking, oh, that's the one. Anyway. All right. Let's see. So here we go. Let's share some of these. All right. I like this one. Rosalie says, right. Good. This one, I like this. This isn't even just an ability. Look at this one. I would open a group home or take in foster children. Good. This one, I would donate most of it to St. Jude's Hospital and buy my mom a new home with the rest. Okay. And I like this one as a follow-up to that. Maria says, I want to work at St. Jude's one day. And I bet there's a story there. I can almost guarantee there's a story there, a very deep story. And it's the stories in our lives that help sometimes create what it is we eventually want to do that we didn't know we wanted to do when we were very young. But what's stopping you? I get it. Good. So that was like hyper realistic, like expectation, right? No, never. Because whenever you think of hyper realistic expectation, those are dreams that you would love to do one day. If you were like, what, hit the lotto, right? I would love to be president of the United States of America. I haven't hit the lotto. I don't have the money. Just to put things right. Seriously, let's just put things right. I would put everything right that was wrong and then hand it off to the next guy and go, okay, your turn, right? Because I know I'm going to get blamed for everything that goes wrong anyway. But at least not throw caution to the wind. Put people in their right headspace, right? Let's do that, more of that than the other. But that's a dream right now, right? But let's focus, okay? Let's focus. Now, you see what I just did? I made it almost as though I pushed aside your dream. Don't let people push aside your dream. Create a boundary. Instead of saying, yeah, he's right, say this. Well, if it's meant to be in my future, I'm going to hold on to that. And that's okay. Because sometimes along the way, if you're focusing on something you truly want to do, you may get a version of it, a portion of it, and or a whole enchilada. And sometimes the whole enchilada is completely different than what you thought you were set out to do. But if you put it as your focus, you put it as your dream, you put it as, no one's going to tell me I can't. You do that. You set your own boundary. There's something in yourself that's been embedded since the start for you to do. That's why it brings you so much happiness, joy, exultation, love. Rosalie says, right. I hate to write. I don't like to write. Okay. That would probably not be among my worst list. It would probably be on things that I just find cumbersome. I would rather speech to text. I could do that. I just think writing for me slows down my brain. Right. But if I were to like do a talk to text thing or do a whole thing, this is my theory, this is my show, this is my thing, I would do that. Some people do well with typing. I do well with typing. I don't do well with writing. But for Rosalie, why have you prevented yourself from writing something really cool and or amazing? I'd ask that question. And then I would say, well, do you have the tools to do it now? Can you get the tools to do it now? See, I have 4 books, none finished, tons of songs. Then finish them. Some of the hardest things to do with creatives that get bored easily, which a lot of creatives do, especially the smart ones, is they just move on. I'm done with that. Here's what I had to do. I had to learn to finish what I start, see it through to completion, see one project through to completion. Even if it's not a novel, even though it's not Charles Dickinson, get it done. And then move on to the next one. Get that one done. Move on to the next one. Get that one done. Get these under your belt. Get it published. It's not that hard. You don't have to get a huge publisher. You can self-promote it yourself. Get it done. Each and every time you accomplish a task, you have more confidence for the next one. You understand? Sometimes people think, I want to write a huge novel. Well, get done with the first book then. Make it 15 pages. I don't know. Make it a short story. Do something. Get it done. Nothing frustrates me more than people that just sit on things when that is the one thing that brings them a lot of joy. Rosalie, I love you. I do. This is called hard love, okay? I love you enough to say I'm going to push you, to motivate you, to get it done. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. Then get it done in between the cracks of time. You know, a lot of the biggest famous people got it done when they were working a full-time job, by the way. Don't believe me? Look it up. And I do love you, Rosalie. Don't take it bad. My point is this. If it brings you that much joy and or happiness, then why stop and not let anybody else read it? Well, it's not as good as I think it was at the end of the day. I know because I used to do that with drawing. I used to draw drawings and I rip them up and tear them up and throw them away. Because I was like, it wasn't perfect. And I would do so much of that. I'm like, I don't want anybody to watch it. It was just for me, right? No, I say get it published. Get it out there. Because you never know who needs to hear it and or see it and or read it or for yourself. Maybe that's the path you're meant to be on and you're preventing yourself. Why? Did you believe somebody in the back of your head? Maybe their voice comes up saying, like, I love that Elise talked about her professor's head saying, don't let anybody tell you you have a style or a design. You can do anything. That's called don't believe the limits other people put on you. I love that she said that. Elise should be an inspiration for all of us to be able to say, you know what? Whatever it is, it is. It's called the Elise. Like the Mona Lisa, right? Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci, Mona Lisa. Fran says, I have a book in the world myself. I get it. Rosalie says, my heart wasn't in it the last 15 years. Sometimes frustration in life can dummy down what we used to want to do. But that's what I say. You have to peel the layers back. You have to go back to what it is that made you want to do it in the first place and just peel back the layers. Start off 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Just do a little bit of it. Just do a little bit. And little by little, all of a sudden, the inner child starts coming out saying, thank you for showing me attention. I was waiting for you. Oh my goodness. Finally. Let's mosey on up. Because many of the children of today know if you ask them and you let them have the confidence. Help build the confidence in them. Say, you know what? You can do whatever you want, especially in this world. You want to create a company? All you have to do is find the people online. They're all sitting around going, I need to put my time into something. Seriously. You know how many filmmakers we interviewed? I want to say about 50 in total that all could band together through a Zoom call. They're like, you're in New York? I'm in New York. Let's collaborate. All right. They just want to create. They don't need to make money even, but hopefully they will. Get it distributed. How easy is it to get distributed nowadays via digital media? You don't even need a theater production anymore. Theater productions are dying out. Don't believe me? The movie theater is not going to stay around for very long. It's just not. Sad. We'll get back there eventually, but for now, it's called digital media. If you could put it online, do it. Why not? Don't let anything stop you. And if it did stop you, thank you for sharing, Rosalie. I appreciate it. She admits something about that. I don't really want to throw out there, but look, we all have things in our life that push us down, weigh us down so much. But why are you still letting it weigh you down? Make a calculated effort in your head to stop making that stop you from something you love to do in your heart of hearts. You may not make any money. You may just have some self-confidence at the end of the day. Yeah, I got a book. It's out there. You can buy it. It's on Amazon. With no money down. Seriously. They take a percentage of your profits if you sell anything, and that's it. That's called create space. Seriously. You can create music if you like to create music. Boom. Create space. They help you distribute it. Granted, you gotta have a social media platform at least to like broadcast it, but you get somebody that has like, I don't know, $100, $150. They invest in it on Facebook ads. put it out there, see how many people want to buy it and or get it and or just give it away for free for the time being as an ebook. It's so many different ways. Just get it done. You have time. What are you doing? That's what I say to people. Don't even watch the morning show. If you spent time with me for an hour and a half, then get off the morning show and go right. Seriously, you obviously had some time. Well, I'm working and listening to you. Well, then I don't know. But I'm sure you have some time you can eke in, even if it's very late at night, or just wake up a little earlier. Easier said than done. Trust me. I used to not wake up early. Now I was up today at 4:30. Not like, what else do I do? Okay, let me get this done, this done, this done, this done, this done, done. Get these interviews done. I was like, what else do I do? Okay, I got 20 different emails. I got an email. Boom, done. All before the morning show. You understand? Wasn't easy, but still not easy. Because now I'm tired. I need my Red Bull. I know they're not healthy for you, but whatever. Let's see. Okay, so let's go to here. Whoops, sorry. Watching you, but work at the same time. I knew it. Thank you. Maria says the only thing stopping my St. Jude's dream is being in Canada at the moment. Not a bad reason. Love my work here too, and taking care of my mom and family. I changed careers in the middle of a wonderful life and started from scratch. You know what? Congratulations. I admire you. You know why? Sometimes people put their dreams on hold in order to help other people. It's true. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I hate ones that go, oh, yeah, but whoa. You're focusing on the family. You know, there's a scripture proverb that says, anybody who does not provide for his own house is like worse than a man without faith. And many people think that that's financial means. I would venture to say it's like on all three, right? Spiritual, emotional, and financial, right? So if you're doing that and you're putting your own dreams to the side, good job. Sometimes that's your main mission in life. So don't let that get you down. In fact, say, oh, thank you, God, for using me to help somebody else. And can you give me a little bit more time so I can pursue something I really love? Because I feel just mad, sad, and angry all the time. Seriously, these people are so ungrateful. Hopefully the people in your life are not as ungrateful as people have been in my life. But, I have to go back to reality and I go, okay, what am I doing this for? Well, it's to help other people, right? That's my job. I don't like hosting. I don't even like to do all my own productions. I really don't. But you know what I love doing at the end of the day? Meeting people and inspiring people and motivating people. And if I can motivate one person out there to do something really, doesn't even have to be a financial gain. It could just be going from one day to the next. Sometimes I've had conversations with people that say I was really depressed, mad, sad, and I almost ended my life, but something you said made me want to push on. Or I've had this one. I wanted to give up, but you said something that made me want to move on. And I say, well, then evidently that's my role in life. To help each and every one of you listening to move on. Keep pushing forward. Keep yourself motivated. If I were gone today, that would be my message I'd want to leave with the rest of humanity. Keep pushing forward no matter the circumstances in your life, no matter the people in your life that are there 1 minute, gone the next. Enjoy the life you have in the minute that you have it, in the second that you have it, in the life that you have it. For this life is the only life you're given on this earth. Whether you believe in reincarnation, whether you believe in heaven, whether you believe in nirvana, whether you believe there are multiple levels of heaven, whatever you believe, you're not there yet. Focus on where you're at here. You're on this earth, living this moment in time. What are you doing with it? Back to the lady who was mid-60s, okay, writing her piece. We'll just call it a piece. The saddest regret is saying no to opportunities in life. You understand? Throughout life, you probably can think of 2 or 3 opportunities that if you would have just said yes to, then you might have had a different direction in life. Does that make sense? I think of opportunities that I had and I said no to, adamantly so. And then I started opening my mind to say, you know what? Why am I saying no? Let me say yes and see where that gets me. So I started to say yes. Sure. I don't see why not. Never tried it before. Might be interesting. Okay. Which led me to where I'm at today. So start saying yes a little, not all the time. Don't let people push you over. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be the pushover. Don't be that person. Okay. Learn to draw the line. Back to those filmmakers who wanted money for their projects that even though I brought them the money, they didn't want to take me up on it because they wanted to not be willing to bend. Okay. Don't be a pushover and don't be the person that's unwilling to bend. Be willing to bend. That's my message. And get to where you got to get going. Because I can almost guarantee if you're watching right now and you watch for this amount of time, there's something you got to get going. There's something you got to do. And it's something to help either A, motivate yourself, B, motivate somebody else, or C, just do it because it makes you happy. And if it makes you happy, come on. That's going to put you in a better headspace. I may not like what I do, but at the end of the day, no matter what's going on in my life, I'm happy because I'm helping somebody out. And whether you're that somebody or somebody else is somebody, or I get a message on Twitter and or Facebook saying, you know what, thank you. That for me is like payment itself. That for me is money in the bank. Hopefully money in heaven too, because when I get there, I hope to have a lot of money there. But you know what? My point is this. No matter what, we have to say this. In life, you are valuable. In life, you are valuable. And I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to say it. If nobody else is around or if you're at work, then say it in your heart. Say these words. Repeat after me. I am highly, extremely, amazingly persistent. Now say, I am a wonderful person. Good. All the negative thoughts you just thought about, push those out. Push them out. Those are your limiting beliefs. When people say these words, sometimes they hear a different voice in their head. And it's almost a limiting belief. Oh, I'm not that wonderful. Oh, I'm not that great. Whenever you hear these words, there's always a limiting thought in your head that pushes you down, pushes you back, and says, no, you're not. Push that out. Remove that from your brain. And say, you know what? You need to isolate that. You isolate it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think some of you probably had that. I mean, you could say yes, just say yes that you had that happen to you right now. You could say no too, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. These are thoughts that whenever you have a moment, you go, oh, I really should do that. And then you have the limiting belief. Yeah, but you never finish anything. So why start? Yeah, you're right. I should write a book. That would be great. You don't have any time. Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't have any time. You understand? They're called self-limiting thoughts. Some people refer to them as the demons in your head, right? I just like to think of them as this. Those are somewhere along the line, you believe somebody and or said it yourself, and somewhere in your brain you says, yep, that's right. I know people that say out loud, I'm stupid. No, you're not. Where did you get that from? Who told you that word? My mom. Well, no wonder you believe that. That's terrible. I've had those conversations with people. I root that out right away. Jump that. Get that out there. That doesn't belong there. You're a human being created by a universal supreme, put on this earth, revolving around space. The universe is grand. You are human consciousness personified. You are not only human consciousness personified, you are a blessing to those around you. You can cause and affect change already around you. You can cause a word to come out of your mouth and help strike down evil in your own very heart and say, you know what? Those limiting thoughts, I don't need any of those. You just don't know me. I am created from above, and I have been put on this earth to do something important. Sure, maybe it's taking care of my mom. Sure, maybe it's taking care of my kid. Sure, maybe it's taking care of my husband. Sure, maybe it's taking care of my wife. Sure, maybe it's taking care of my cousin. Sure, maybe it's taking care of my grandfather, my grandma, my niece, my nephew, my uncle, my aunt, my friend's friend that needs help because they don't know how to make ends meet and I can help them out. Maybe it's somebody else that's just on the street that needs a little spoken word of encouragement. Here's a buck, and you know what? Stay blessed. You are so important. You have no idea. The lack of you on this earth would be a void in the time continuum. I know it got pretty heavy with the time continuum thing, right? You're like, wait, whoa. I got that till I got to the time continuum. Imagine this for a minute, okay? Imagine for a minute. You could rewind the clock, okay? You rewind the clock, okay? 5 centuries ago, somebody made a decision to have a baby, right? Okay. Or maybe you're not that old, whatever. 100 centuries ago. Let's go 100 centuries ago. Okay. You don't even know who made the decision, but they had a baby. That baby had a baby. That baby had a baby. That baby had a baby. I mean, babies have a baby, seriously. I mean, you never know. Right. But at some point, somebody had a baby. And long story short, your physical DNA got reproduced here on this earth because somebody made a decision way back when to have a baby. Right. Okay. You got to go in with that. Okay. So all throughout time, all throughout existence, which one of those members were not valuable in the time continuum? Could you pick one? Would you be you? Would you be you with the family members that you have? Every one of them valuable. Are they not? Well, there is Uncle Joe. I always had questions about him, but yeah, sure. Okay. Love it or hate it. You are important on this time continuum life of existence. And maybe you don't have babies. Maybe you don't have children. That's okay. Yeah, I don't have one. I'm not leaving some DNA behind. Not in this world, seriously. I mean, if it were to happen, okay, but I don't have that. I die, it stops with me. Boom, done. Don't think that has gotten me a little sad at times, but I'm like, you know what? I would rather me die, me alone, and at least help affect cause and change in other people to want to keep moving on and keep pushing forward. You know why? Because even if you don't have a child, maybe you'll adopt. Maybe you have little kids that are like your little kids. You know, I've got like 5 that I could call my little, kids, nephews, nieces, kind of like, but they're not, right? Adopted kids. They adopted me as their like, special person in their life, right? And they grow up and they do something with their life. That's what I want. That's what I want to be remembered at. What do you want to be remembered at? By somebody that says thank you. Do you not? I think that's all of us. I don't care how rich, how sad, how mad, how proud, how unproud, how ungrateful you may be. You just want somebody to say thank you for existing in my life. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you for sticking up for me. Thank you for doing something nice for me. Just thank you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me on the morning show. Thank you. Thank you for spending your time. That's a sincere thank you, because otherwise I'd be speaking to nobody. Seriously. So thank you. If you didn't get a thank you today, thank you. I see your names here. Some of you don't talk, but that's okay. I get it. Passive watching. I'm the same person. I don't like to comment on other people's videos. I get it. But my point is this. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being on this earth. No matter what. Don't let anybody tell you, ugh, why are you even in the room? You know the mean girls in your life? So unhappy with themselves. But even they're important to the time continuum. Hopefully they'll get their head on straight at some point and go, I was dumb. Yeah, I know. I thought my ego was all that. I realized that my life is not that great. But do something with it. No matter how many time seconds you are given, no matter how many time minutes you are given, no matter what time you're given in the time continuum, you are here. You're not there. So many people are focused. What happens when we die? You know what I say? Don't worry. You're not there. Focus on this life. Have hope. Then it doesn't stop. That I 100% believe. It never stops. It can't stop. There's no theory out there where it stops 100%. It just doesn't. Human consciousness is made to move forward, not backwards. You understand? That's why you can't go backwards in time. Because then you'd have a completely different parallel life that wouldn't echo this one. It would echo a completely new spinoff. If you don't believe me, watch The Flash. It makes sense, right? Or watch Quantum Leap, right? It makes sense. Well, Quantum Leap never really addresses that, but it should. My point is this. You are here in this moment in time in order to do something with it. If it's there to smile at somebody that is feeling bad, sad, mad, or angry, maybe it's you're that chance encounter isn't such a chance encounter. Something you say inspires them to do some great things. I said something to a couple filmmakers yesterday, and one says, you know what? Thank you for saying that. I've been wondering about that. Thank you. I don't know where that came from. I was like, oh, you're welcome. I don't know where it came from. It just, I felt she needed to hear it. That's it. Sometimes you got to go with what you feel. If it's a feeling of encouragement, that's got to be from a good source. If it's negativity and you're like, you're stupid. Well, that's not from a good source. You get what I'm saying? I don't think God, the creator, ever said, he put that word into our thought processes. It's mentioned in the Bible. It's true. But it's like those without God are created. I don't know. It's a proverb. Long story short, you got to know the source, where the source comes from. It could be from a mad, angry, sad, depressed person in your life that you put their thoughts above yours. Don't let mad, sad, abusive people put their thoughts above yours. And sometimes they embed it there in the brain. Don't believe me? I'm gonna give you one more lesson. Okay, here it is. I know I promised it would be the last, but here we go. I want you to say this word out to yourself, okay? And this one I want you to say out loud. Don't worry. People aren't looking. And even if they are, you just say, check out the morning show. It's awesome. The word is this. You ready? Quiet your mind. Listen. Here we go. Life. What was the words that came to you right after that? Life. Was it just, what else are you going to say? Or was it, life is grand, life is beautiful, life is amazing? Be honest. What did you think when I said life? The brain is amazing. Subconscious brain. So either can work against you, with you, or for you. If it's working against you, you got to speed up the brain. If it's working with you, it's not bad. But if it's working for you, you can move mountains. Seriously, you get a bulldozer, move the mountain, boom, done. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So many people. Let's see. Worth living. I love that. Thank you, Bobby. Worth living. Is it? And where did that come from? It's funny because I say that at the end, right? Life is worth living. Live it well. And technically, I say that to bring that into the subconscious mind to say, yes, life is worth living. But I had a conversation about a week and a half ago with somebody who I did a word association thing with. And you know what? Anytime I said life, it's like, ugh, terrible. And I circle back around again and again. It was like frustrating. Horrific. Like all these new words, like none of them good. Right? And I said, oh, well, where's that coming from? Well, granted, she was losing her grandma. She was in the hospital, suffering from a divorce. This, the whole kit and caboodle. This is really bad. Okay. My point is this. You have to root those things out. Yeah, not those things. I mean, those things are going to happen to you regardless. You got to root the word that came after it. You understand? Maria says, to have life is to live. See, and I love you. You're all like so positive. Algenia, love, life is worth living forever. Aw. And Bobby says, came from you, Aaron, and heard it throughout my life. It's not an uncommon phrase. It really isn't. But I repeat it over and over again for a reason. Because I meet people that sometimes are sad. They don't want to admit it, but they're sad. And if you're positive, stay positive. But even the most positive person can get sad, mad, and angry at some point in their life. It's called life. Life is a plenty, is it not? It's just which side of the road are you going to jump on or off of, right? Sometimes we're on a road that we're not on, that we should be on. Does that make sense? Sometimes you're on a road, you're like, this isn't the road I planned for myself. This is terrible. Well, then, change the road. Make new decisions, make new choices. You can do it. Don't believe me. It's amazing what happens when you change the thought patterns and you say, oh, life is an adventure. What about that one? What does that make you think? Well, life is an adventure. Well, what would make it an adventure? Like, because you think fun, right? I hope. Some people think, no, I don't want it as an adventure. That's scary, right? Some people are afraid of life. So life is an adventure. Throw that one out. Or write that one down too. If you got that pen and paper, write that one. Life is an adventure. And you're like, my life today is an adventure. But what would make it adventuresome? You know, sometimes I don't want to go places and I go, well, life is an adventure. Might as well live it. Okay, fine. There's some things I do not want to do. I'm like, I would just rather be home and just, all right, fine. Life is an adventure. And I have to tell myself that. And it makes me go, yeah, life is an adventure. All right, fine. Boom. Go forward, right? Life is an adventure. Life is grand. Put that one out. Write that one down. Life is grand. Well, what made it grand? Words are so powerful if you use the right words. Life is grand. All right, write that one out. And this last one, you ready? Life is whatever you make it. You have the power to make it grand, amazing, wonderful. What will you do with the life you were given to make it all three of those and so much more? All right, people, I'm out of time. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. It is. Seriously. You got the control. You got the power. You were amazing. You were wonderfully made. You were put on this earth in order to affect change in your own sphere of influence. You have friends. You have family. You have people in your life that some depend on you. Some cannot do this life without you. Be a cause for somebody to say, I never told you but you motivate me to keep living. Be a cause for somebody to say, you know what? I did the right thing because of you. Thank you for giving me that grand advice. I'm a better person for having met you. Be that person on this earth. Be a person for cause, for change, for exaltation, for loving other people, for being there for them when they thought the world was against them. Be that person for someone, and you will move mountains. You will move continents. You will move people in ways that they never thought they could move, because you know what? You will not help that person that wants to commit suicide. You will make them want to think twice about committing suicide, thereby affecting the time continuum of who the person is behind that person behind them, centuries down the line, eons of time down the line. Somebody in the far future is going to not even know you existed, but you helped time move forward in the right way with positivity, with mental thought patterns that were able to change people's thinking in such a way that they could continue the time continuum in a much better way. And although there's a lot of evil in the world, you are putting more goodness, more faith, more loving kindness, more exaltation, more happiness into the world that you are now. That's right. I said it. Wonderful. Amazingly so, because your God creator is happy. You now realize why you're on this earth and what your purpose is. All right, people, make it a great day.